Sup, yo? This is Paul Catalina's Top 5 Golden Boy Quarterbacks, brought to you by Texas Beef House. Please go to TexasBeefHouse.com. Use our promo code SICK'EM10 for 10% off of your order. Today, we're talking Golden Boy QBs. Now, who are these? These are the next wave, the next generation. Some of them played a little. Some of them have played maybe more than a little. Some of them haven't played at all. But these are the next wave of QBs that everybody's excited about. We'll start with number 5. And by no means is this a ranking of how good they are or anything like that, because, as you know, and confirmed by Garrett here in a second, there is no bigger Avery Johnson fan outside of Manhattan, Kansas than Paul Catalina. Love this quarterback, love what he can do, but he is, I'm telling you, this guy has got a great chance to be the face of the Big 12 for the next couple of years. They've got a true sophomore season and a true junior season with him before he's NFL draft eligible. He's the fastest guy on their team, and that's saying a lot because they've got some fast dudes. He is already a leader. You saw what he did in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. You saw what he did in his one start where he scored 4 rushing touchdowns. He's got to get better throwing the ball, obviously. He spent the offseason doing that. This is a Kansas State team that's picked high for a reason, and he is a big part of that reason. Avery Johnson at K-State, the next wave of QBs. And again, I wanted to get my gushing over Avery Johnson out of the way before we talk about some of these other guys. Number 4, Julian Sayin at Ohio State. This is someone who, after spring ball, they're even calling into question like what the depth chart needed to be. Will Howard, Devin Brown, Julian Sayin, Aaron Nolan's there as well, and that's a highly rated quarterback. They're going to have some transfers out of Ohio State no matter what. But I put Julian Sayin after this because Avery Johnson pushed Will Howard to Ohio State. Now, Will Howard more than likely going to be the starting quarterback all year long at Ohio State. But if there's a young guy who can push him out again in the middle of the season in his last year of eligibility, it might be Julian Sayin. He was the number 1 rated quarterback in the country. He was like the number 4 or 5 overall rated player in the country. This is someone who's probably ready to go pretty early on at Ohio State, and would not be surprised to see him getting some reps in there and maybe even taking over the backup spot if Devin Brown doesn't continue to progress. Although he did progress, and they've heard a lot of things about Devin Brown at Ohio State in the spring game, but we'll see. It would not surprise me to see Julian Sayin be the number 2 quarterback there in Columbus. Number 3, I know most of you have not heard of this guy. He's from, like, I don't know if you've heard of his family. They played in, football. They're good at, no, you've heard of them, Arch Manning at Texas. So much so that you've got national pundits saying that they think Arch Manning will beat out Quinn Ewers for the starting job eventually at Texas. I think that's premature and ridiculous. If Arch Manning's the starter at Texas, it probably means something really bad happened to Quinn Ewers, and he's out for the year, which of course nobody wants. But Quinn Ewers is going to be a first or second round draft pick in this upcoming draft. He's got skills. He keeps getting better. But Arch Manning, obviously the next wave at Texas. Every time he comes into any kind of game, garbage time in a game last year, the spring game, there's buzz around Arch Manning. And so he'll get his shot next year, which would be his redshirt sophomore year. And we'll see where Arch Manning lives then. But this is, I could have honestly put him at number 1 on this list because there's no more hype built around any player in the country than there is around Arch Manning in Austin. And a lot of that's deserved, but we'll see what happens. They've got a great situation there. And he's not antsy to get out. He's committed to Texas, and this is not any kind of, let me go here and then hop to somewhere else. He's going to be the starting quarterback at Texas next year, if not for any number of reasons this year, but more than likely he sits back and we'll get to see a little bit of him in some games this year in Austin. Number 2, Jackson Arnold at Oklahoma. Garrett called Oklahoma the most underrated team in the SEC earlier on the triple option, and he might be right, and this is part of the reason. Look, he's a redshirt freshman quarterback true sophomore. I'm not sure where sophomore. He's a sophomore, yeah, because he was the backup last year. I'm not sure how many games he actually played in last year and how many over the the mark he got. But he's the reason that Dylan Gabriel's at Oklahoma right now. It's because or at Oregon because Oklahoma decided to double down on Jackson Arnold and his potential for that offense. So we've not seen much of him, but we've seen enough to know that this is the next guy who's supposed to take Oklahoma to that next step. And we'll see if they truly are one of the more underrated teams. He's going to have wins against some pretty big teams in the SEC, including down the stretch could be Mizzou, Alabama, or LSU for them. And he gets his first crack at the Texas Longhorns this season in the Red River rivalry. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because that game never goes according to anybody's plan. Ever, ever, ever. It's never exactly what you think it's going to be. That one gets so upside down so fast and twisted, it's nuts. And number one, Nico Amala at Tennessee. This is the face of the modern NIL quarterback. This guy got $8 million reportedly guaranteed. He's taken private jet flights. The entire collapse of the NCAA and their no-paying players can be built around this man right here. This 19-year-old, 6'6", 225-pound athlete, thoroughbred of a quarterback. If you saw him play in the bowl game last year against Iowa, he torched a good defense on the ground. He made plays in the air too. He is very, very talented. He will be the starter. I mean, look at this. Look at this mustache this guy's already got right there. That's a Magnum PI mustache right there. He is the whole thing. The Tennessee case that the injunction was filed on was about Nico Amala and how much money that collective was paying to get him to Tennessee. And this will be fun to watch. It's weird to me that I'm talking about a Manning and not at Tennessee or Ole Miss.
Very.
Yeah. But the flying Hawaiian here, Nico Amala, this is really going to be interesting at Tennessee and what he's going to do for an offense with Josh Heupel, which you know is wide open and fun, and anybody puts up numbers in it. Maybe not as much as Hendon Hooker or someone like that, but he's probably going to be the biggest number putter-upper of anyone, and he's just a redshirt freshman, didn't play until the bowl game last year, so the sky's the limit for Nico. That's going to do it for the top five. We're wrapping it up right now.